want to give you a couple examples of how this process of creating a new idea can work with real companies that we've worked with here. Spoon University is one that identified a community of people around the country. These were college students who were really passionate about food. And a number of years ago, they said, why don't we create a food website for our own university and focus not on rating restaurants necessarily, but helping people create their own food, cook, enjoy the food in the college cafeteria, etc. And from that initial idea grew a very popular and successful Spoon University website, first at one campus, then at a few campuses, then at 10, then at 50. Now well over 100 campuses have Spoon University as part of them, and the company recently was sold for $10 million as a result of having created a community around this kind of content, high quality content. There's a lot of other factors that went into their success, but that was a part of it was identifying a clear community that had a need, and they came from that community and understood the community really well. A second approach was taken by Narratively, which really looked at this effectual entrepreneurship kind of path. And Noah Rosenberg, the founder, who founded that out of this program in 2012, founded Narratively based on knowing a few things. He had a great network of people, of professional writers who wrote for the New York Times and the New Yorker and all sorts of other professional publications. He also had a lot of skill at writing and editing and had a team that had that skill of professional, high-quality journalistic editing and writing. In addition to the skill and the network, they had knowledge of the ecosystem and the knowledge of New York City where it was launched, on the kinds of stories that were available. They had a long story list before they were even ready to launch. They had a passion for this, which was evidenced by the fact that people would meet before the project had even launched, would spend hours over beers talking about the idea, thinking about how this would work, and coming to meetings, going long distances to attend meetings together. And so they had the passion, they had relevant skills, they had relevant knowledge, they had a great network, and that ended up planting the seeds for the initial Kickstarter campaign for Narratively, which raised more than $50,000 from more than 800 people, allowed them to pay their initial writers, got them notice from their community. One thing led to another, the community grew, and within a few years they had hundreds of thousands of unique visitors every month. They had various revenue streams and had grown into a really successful venture, having started with some key analysis of what they could do, what they knew, what their network was, what their passions were. A third example, Purple, is a startup focused on interactive journalism, messaging-focused journalism. It's interactive journalism that lets you ask a question and get an answer through messaging. And that started from the advantages offered by new solutions, new platforms. So this was a solutions and platforms-focused kind of idea, and that has led to a flourishing of an idea in new and interesting directions. And finally, one example that's brand new here is called What the F Just Happened Today. I'm going to leave out the expletive. It's about the new political system that we're living in the United States. And what's interesting about that is within a matter of months, identifying a community of people who are interested in keeping tabs daily on what was happening in the political system, and identifying strengths that he had in terms of being able to code the site really quickly, being able to market the site, being able to write the content. He also identified a problem out there that people wanted more information more quickly, and for it to be condensed into one site that listed the information day by day. So he actually, in many ways, used each of these different approaches, identified a community, identified his strengths and capabilities, identified a problem that was out there, also identified a solution in the form of Patreon, which allows people to become members and support the site. In fact, he's now generating more than $8,000 at this recording, as of this recording, per month, meaning that he's almost at $100,000 in annual revenue for this daily news update, simply by covering a topic that's of value and doing it well and reaching a community effectively. So in these four instances, these four examples, we've seen a variety of ways of starting with something, either a problem or an opportunity, a community, or a solution, or a look inward at one's strengths and capabilities. And from that analysis, from that assessment, has emerged really powerful new ideas. And we can look at successful ventures around the world for inspiration. So we've spoken about the ideation process and how you develop those new ideas. And we can look for inspiration at projects that have done really, really well. And The Atlantic is a great example of one. Cooks Illustrated, in the realm of cooking, has done very well with premium content. Vice has excelled through creating authentic content that people feel resonates with who they are and what their passions are. And ProPublica has capitalized on people's interest and appetite for high-quality investigative accountability journalism. Even in an era when people are snacking on bite-sized news, they're also interested in quality journalism that addresses real societal issues. Texas Tribune has made regional news very successful in Texas by covering the whole state really effectively and using data journalism very well. The Marshall Project has shown that you can carve out a narrow niche, in this case the criminal justice system, which is actually a huge topic, but within the realm of news is considered a niche subject. And they've done that with great passion and great fervor and award-winning quality journalism. BuzzFeed has shown that you can grow from a small, narrow start, focusing on memes and popular shared content about cats, and build a news empire that really does a lot of high-quality journalism as well and reaches people on a variety of platforms. And a variety of other organizations, including Quartz, 90 Minutes, Mike, Vox, have shown that you can do news in all sorts of sectors, all sorts of verticals, and do it successfully. Jersey Shore Hurricane News is a project that we've worked with here at the Townite Center at the CUNY J School, which now has hundreds of thousands of people who are part of this community in New Jersey, started on Facebook and has now moved beyond that platform in order to serve news locally. I Effing Love Science is another niche site focused on science that's shown you can take a very serious and complex set of subjects and make them really fun and accessible, and that can be a powerful formula. You can see that more than 20 million people like that particular product or service. So they've taken something that was once thought of as a kind of narrow, academically focused topic in the news, science, and made it much more accessible to millions of people. Cooks Illustrated has taken cooking information which is available widely for free and shown that you can capitalize by making high-quality news that's exclusive and available only through this particular channel. 538 has shown that you can use data and numbers to make news more credible and believable, and they've succeeded on that premise. Timeline has made the process of presenting news different in a mobile format, presenting news not just in what's happening today, but in its historical context, and made that visually effective on mobile, much like BuzzFeed, through its news app, has made news on mobile much more familiar for news consumers who are used to a mobile interface and mobile device, and they've done that very successfully on that platform. So those are examples of inspiration that we can draw on when we're thinking about developing new ideas, and paired with that ideation process can help us launch new products and services in the entrepreneurial journalism realm.